we're back, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of I Can Do This All Day. I'm Dan, the part-time adventurer. That is Mark, the resident Jedi.
Hello there. Today, we have a very special holiday episode for everybody. Since today is Memorial Day, well, we're going to do a top 5 best movies of Memorial Day.
So Memorial Day weekend releases is what we're focusing on. So all the movies that we'll be talking about were released on or around Memorial Day weekend. And that's what we're going to do. So we got a list of 5. But just out of curiosity, when it comes to Memorial Day, did you have anything that was a staple for you around that time? Just, outside of movies, did you go to like the lake house, or did you fire up the old barbecue for something? What did you do to celebrate Memorial Day?
It normally was some kind of like random family gathering, so all of the parents could just kind of let all the kids play together. I didn't grow up in a military household or anything like that, so I didn't do a lot of not much ceremonially around the respect and the kind of message behind, and the appreciation of sacrifice and service. It was a day off school towards the end of school, and but it was a Monday off. And like I said, I didn't grow up in that environment of understanding the why until I was older. But yeah, it was just, hanging out. Didn't have a lake house at the time. Was not well to do. Just kind of went over to somebody's house, probably had some grilled food and played outside.
I don't really remember much from like my childhood about that, other than the fact that we had school off that Monday. We didn't have any like lake houses or anything like that. I'm trying to think if we did like barbecues or anything, but maybe not. We definitely didn't celebrate as to what it was for, which a lot of people don't even realize that what Memorial Day actually is for. So for those that don't, Google it. You should, because we're American. We should probably figure out what we're celebrating and why we have a day off of school, or why we're off of work that particular day. But I will remember from my working life is that I would work all those holiday weekends, that's for sure. And I would work on Memorial Day if it was open. It was a big, my very first job that was, like I would say, the first step in my career. We would always be open for those holidays, and I missed out on a lot of barbecues with friends and people going to lake houses and stuff because I had to work on that holiday so I can get that holiday pay, but also hopefully make some money with selling some stuff. But one thing that I know I did is I watched movies when I could, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So we got a list of 5. For the order, we're going to go from our least favorite to our favorite. And is there any other criteria that you had for these movies being on your list besides the fact that it was released on Memorial Day weekend?
No, I just thought it would be fun to look at what came out, which is now, the holiday weekends are such a big movie, like such large scale films come out. I thought it was a fun exercise to just kind of see what came out, what was great, and what was introduced, because I mean, the list is long and distinguished, but I was surprised at some of the things I was surprised at some of the sparsity of some of the more recent, like, giant titles.
I was going to say, I was surprised that there weren't that many bangers on this list, because I think that Memorial Day weekend really is the one that kicks off the summer box office.
Yeah.
And am I wrong in that? Like, am I just getting my facts wrong?
I think everybody focuses on 4th of July weekend. I don't know. Because that's when everybody's out of school. They're doing, I don't know.
At least it seems like it, because there's not a lot of my favorites on this list. I feel like there were so many more of them than there actually is.
There are a lot of solid deep cuts on this list though, too. Like, as I'm reading them, they may not be movies you've seen. They may be movies you hate, but like, there's a lot of like Mark goodness on my honorable mentions list, at least.
Well, break off some of your honorable mentions. I've got 2 of them.
I don't want to go too deep, but there's a few like really great bad movies. One we've covered for the podcast. The OG Super Mario Brothers movie was a Memorial Day release.
Ugh.
Mad respect to that.
Mad
Just
fucking gross.
absolute. They're re-releasing it in 4K. So just it's gonna be awesome.
No,
Everybody's
it's not. It's not going to be awesome. That
oh,
movie sucks.
speaking of it's gonna be awesome. That movie sucks. Do you remember a little before he was John Wick, before he was Neo? Your boy was Johnny Mnemonic. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do remember. I went to go see it in theaters.
With the dolphin and the like 256 megs of RAM or whatever it was. Like, this is what we could implant at the time. This is
The
the
dolphin? The dolphin? Like, are you talking? Is that like a Dolph Lundgren play?
No, there was a dolphin in Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh man, I don't remember that shit at all.
Oh,
I remember Dolph Lundgren being in it.
Dude, that's a movie to revisit.
Yeah, I think
For those of you that really enjoy Keanu, this is early Keanu and somehow got him to where he is today. Yeah, no, it's so bad it's great. Speaking of so bad it's great, Hudson Hawk, the Bruce Willis singing cat burglar movie. Oh,
Jesus.
buddy, you gotta love it.
So, just for clarify, I asked you this before the podcast started, but can you just reiterate for all of us that are, or all the fans that are listening and watching this, like, is this a list of good movies or bad movies from Memorial Day?
For me, it's a list of movies that have a certain level of campiness while also just like they're decent movies, but they're very reflective of that time period in cinema that we call the late 80s and early 90s. They're so great. Like Encino Man, also on the list. Yeah, buddy, the Weasel was in it. And 2 Oscar winners also in Encino Man. So I mean, I think there's
Not
a lot
at that time.
it took about 30 years, but they got there. But then there's a few that I know you like Rocky 3 was a Memorial Day release, and Backdraft.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that Kurt Russell vehicle.
I do. It was a great movie.
Yep. But that's my honorable mentions. You said you had some. Let's get into yours, and I'm sure they probably are of finer quality than my own.
So Backdraft is actually on my honorable mentions list.
There we
so
go.
that's definitely one of them. I just thought that movie was so damn good. I never wanted to be a firefighter as a little kid, but watching that movie, it made firefighting interesting to me, and still holds up to this day, I think. You know, there's a little bit of campiness to it, but I really enjoy that movie. And you know how I am. I'm kind of a sucker for some downer endings, and the fact that, spoiler alert, like 40 years, 30 years later, however old this movie is, yes, someone dies, and it's a lead character, a few lead characters. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Another one is, and this is only on my honorable mentions because I did not go see it in theaters.
Ooh.
And it's Star Wars Episode 4. I mean, how can you not have that on your list somewhere? Because that is, I believe it's still my top rated Star Wars movie. But just because it holds that nostalgia as a kid. I've seen it over triple digits, might be in like the 150 to 200 range that I've seen that movie, if not even more. But yeah, Episode 4, A New Hope, that is definitely on there. Just for another one, because you brought out a few different movies that are, you know, you talked about a few of them, but at the same time, I feel like I should say more. But one of them is that campiness that you were talking about, and it's Leslie Nielsen in Spy Hard.
Oh,
so fucking funny. Saw that in theaters, and who doesn't love a good Leslie Nielsen comedy? You know, it's just fantastic. I think we might need to revisit some of the Naked Gun movies because Liam Neeson has started shooting on the Naked Gun reboot. So who knows? Maybe down the road.
I mean,
but yeah, that's my list.
We can actually dig into those and insult some of the performances because OJ can't come get us. So I'm game. We can watch some Naked Gun movies. Let's go.
Cool. Cool. Well, why don't we break down our list of our five, starting off with your number five.
My number five is a movie that is amazing. And when I saw that it was on the list, and I was like, really? This came out for Memorial Day? But I watched it every year for the longest time, and I still revisit it on a regular basis. It is 100% on my I can do this all day movie list, and that is the Stanley Kubrick, Jack Nicholson classic, The Shining.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, it came out on Memorial Day, but man, a movie that 100% holds up. And, like if you want to be a little frightened, not a bad movie to turn on.
Did you ever check out the sequel to it?
It's on my list. I never did. No, I didn't. Is it good? Have you seen? It's Doctor Sleep, right?
Yeah, it's I think because I haven't seen the first one in such a long time, I'm sure I missed out on a lot of the little Easter eggs and callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. It's not The Shining, but it's worth a watch.
Cool.
Rebecca Ferguson, my probably favorite actress out of all the entire Mission Impossibles. She's great in that, and she plays an awesome character. So yeah, it's worth it. I'd give it a shot if I were you.
Very cool.
But,
Very cool. What's your number five?
so speaking of number five for me, with superheroes, you all know that I love my superheroes. This one is if you are born with superpowers and you're not that good of a person. I'm talking about Brightburn. And I was super excited to see this movie because it was just a different take on Superman, essentially. Like if Superman was a little prick, that's what Brightburn is. And I loved it. It was such a good movie. I thought it was well done. And I just like the fact that there's a downer superhero movie that's out there. And it's not just a downer superhero movie, but it happened to come out on Memorial Day weekend. So yeah,
Never
Brightburn.
seen it.
Check it out, man. Check it out. If Superman was a prick kid, that's the movie.
That's a solid premise. A solid premise.
I mean, that's all you need, right? It's like, whoa, okay. So that's what got me hooked. And so yeah, I was all for it. What about your number four?
My number four, very much to your mention on Spy Hard, a sequel coming soon. But how do you not talk about the absolute classic Eddie Murphy vehicle, Beverly Hills Cop 2? In my opinion, the best of the Beverly Hills Cop movies, and like such just a great movie.
I enjoyed that one. That was a good one. Yeah, I would agree. That's the best one. So we'll see what happens with the newest entry in the series. But
I mean,
yeah,
let's be honest, we're gonna watch it.
We will. Will we review it? Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Probably. As long as Bronson Pinchot's in it, we will.
My number four, also a sequel. I think this might be like the lowest rated in the series. However, I watched it so many times. I probably watched it more than the original. And it's just about friendship, love, and time travel. What else could it be but Back to the Future 3? Going back to the Wild West, wearing awful clothes and Nikkei moccasins. Marty McFly goes back to save Doc Brown in a true testament to their friendship, and just loved it. I love the Back to the Future series, and that particular entry has a lot of nostalgic moments and memories for me as a kid because I watched it so many times.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Back to the Future 2 is my favorite Back to the Future, but I saw that came out and I left it there because it's the worst of the three in my opinion. But
I get that. I totally understand.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Speaking of movies that may be considered the worst of a series or not the worst of a series, my favorite Mission Impossible movie is the first Mission Impossible movie, and that's number 3 on my list. Jon Voight, Tom Cruise, probably still crazy, but it just was such a good movie. Great twists, great callbacks to the TV series. Definitely enjoyed it. The first time Tom Cruise got on top of a train.
Great pick. I did leave that off of my list just because I felt like there were other movies that I enjoyed more that really edged it out. But yeah, can't complain with that pick.
I watched that movie so many times and played the video game. So it was definitely, yeah, love it, love it. What do you got at three?
Three is going back in the well. Even though I did not pick Star Wars Episode 4, the hypocrisy is strong with this one because I did not see this in theaters because I wasn't born yet. But I'm going to Alien for my number three.
Ooh.
Just such a good ass fucking movie. And, at first I thought, like, oh, nothing's going to be better than Aliens because I watched Aliens first. But
Mhm.
no, Aliens pretty fucking badass and definitely scary. And so I like that element of the horror aspect of it. And yeah, it was just a great, solid movie, and arguably the best Ridley Scott movie, maybe.
Dude, that's two on your list that I've never seen. I never got into the Alien movies as a kid.
What? Wait,
I
you've
know,
never
I
seen it?
know.
You've
I've never
never,
seen them. I've never seen them. It's a
none of
sore
them.
spot for me. None of them. I've brought up
Holy
we should do it. Maybe we do
shit.
Aliens in October or something like that.
Dude. So I just saw that they're doing some type of re-release for Aliens, and if you buy that special version of it, you will actually be listed in the credits of the movie. So that's kind of like a cool thing. I was like this close to purchasing it, but I still don't know if it's 100% like legit or if it's just like some type of scam. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of different like interviews with all the different actors, Michael Biehn, obviously James Cameron involved in it. So I think it's only like $90 or something like that to buy that version of the movie and with your name being in the credits. So I don't know. I don't know. That seems like really cool because I do like Aliens better than Alien, just because once again that's the first one that I saw, and who doesn't love a good Bill Paxton and Michael Biehn movie from the '80s? Like just perfect, perfect.
Awesome. Awesome. My number two has aliens in it. It was a movie that came out in the I believe it was the 90s, but it was a cultural phenomenon at the time. It was everywhere, and I just thought it was so good. The sequels have gotten worse and worse and really bad, but the original Men in Black.
Oh, okay, all right. I was wondering like what fucking movie are you talking about?
Dude, the
So that's your
OG
number
Men in
two,
Black
huh?
was so good. Was so good.
It was definitely up there. I mean, I think that's definitely one of the movies that dictated the 90s, right? Because it had
Yeah.
the soundtrack, the Men in Black song. Shit, I danced to that at my wedding with my friend from junior high who also knew the dance. So it was just cool. It
I
was
love
just
it.
yeah, good, solid pick, solid pick. I do like some of the other one. I even like the one with Thor and Valkyrie. So
Yeah,
it's a nice series. Nice
yeah,
series.
absolutely.
Third one was cool too. I thought the third one, the ending of the third
The
one was
ending was
like,
the good part of it.
yeah, very, very, very awesome. So yeah. Number two for me might be a surprise
Mm,
because I've talked so much shit about these movies on some of the episodes that we did to review these movies. So it is a sequel. Some would say it's the best sequel and the best Hollywood blockbuster that we've had in the past 5, 6 years. I'm talking about Top Gun Maverick.
oh, couldn't put it
Tom
on.
Cruise. Tom Cruise, you son of a bitch, you wacky motherfucker. You did it. You brought people back to the theater. It was a good movie. It was a great movie. I should say it was a great movie. I don't even know if I said that I can do it all day, but yeah, after watching it, I watched it just recently again on an airplane because I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a good watch. And I enjoyed it. Still enjoyed it after all this time, and yeah, Tom Cruise, the true movie star, will continue to make the hits, and yeah, so I respect him. I don't like him, but I respect him.
I like that we both have a Tom Cruise movie in the list.
Yeah.
We both have a Tom Cruise movie in the list. And speaking of the hypocrisy being strong, with my number one, I took a liberty. I did a thing. I picked three.
Who would have fucking guessed?
How
Because
am I fucking picking?
you never go by the rules. Number one, you never give a straight answer, even though the picture is black and white. So of course,
Hey,
what
there's
else
an
would I
Easter
expect
egg
you?
the whole fucking time. I picked the OG Star Wars trilogy. They all came out on Memorial Day, and they're just the best. They're the absolute best thing ever to come out on Memorial Day. Fight me. Fight me. We can
I
rank
enjoy them.
4, 5, and 6 however you want. 6, 4, 5. But regardless, the absolute best thing to ever come out of Memorial Day, nothing will ever top it.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm a fan too, and I've watched those movies so many times. So yeah, I I don't disagree. I just find it
You can't
par
make me
for the
pick a
course.
favorite, and I couldn't have 2 movies and 3 Star Wars movies in the
Why
same.
not? Why
I
the
felt
fuck
like that's a
not?
disservice to the fans. So I'm just saying all of them are awesome and they're number one by far. Fuck it all.
Disservice to the fans by once again not giving a straight answer
I mean,
on what
it
it
is what it
is.
is. I've got to meet the expectations of the listeners, Dan.
True, true. Well, since you say that, I've got to meet the expectations as well. So I am the part-time Avenger. Should it be a comic book movie? Of course it should be. Is it an Avenger movie? No. But it is arguably the best X-Men movie, and it is X-Men Days of Future Past. That's my number one. Saw it in theaters that weekend, and it was the Avengers type movie for the X-Men series. It's not saying much. However, it was expertly done, bringing in the old cast and the new cast. And yeah, I will say that even though it's not, it doesn't have Steve Rogers in it, it's still something where it was freaking awesome. And it was the Wolverine show. And I'm not going to apologize for liking X-Men movies because it's a Wolverine show. So Hugh Jackman, Patrick McAvoy, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Michael Fassbender. That cast, fantastic. Number one, absolutely.
I can't argue with the X-Men movies. They're great. I just figured,
Not all of them.
uh, but for when they came out and for what they were, they moved the needle on superhero movies and gave us more. If Batman hadn't begat the Fantastic Four garbage, would have then not begat X-Men, which wouldn't have begat the MCU. So they've got a role in the lineage and the lead up. And I mean, let's be honest, we both read those comics. We were both super stoked to be able to see those characters. And, like in 10 years, when Marvel finally gets around to it, we'll see him again. So that'll be great. And
And
let's be honest, the only movie we're going to see in theaters probably in the next 5 months is a fucking X-Men movie.
Deadpool Wolverine, can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. But hey, really quick episode for you all. We want you to all go back to your barbecues, your family, your fun, your friends. Hopefully you're not at work, but if you are, if you're listening to us or watching us, hey, even better, screw the system. Watch us and listen to us because we've been there before. We've been at the retail stores on those holidays. So just an appreciation for all you out there. But yeah, thanks again for listening and watching. We hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day. This is Dan the Part-Time Adventure. That's Mark the Resident Jedi.
Like, subscribe, and don't forget to thank somebody for their service and respect and yeah, just all of the sentiment that I can't put together.
Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you next time.